We're here today with Dr. Sanjeev Gemawat, who's the General Counsel of Essar Group. I'm absolutely delighted to have him with us for a quick bite. Sir, thank you for letting us do this.
Absolutely my privilege.
The first question that pops up usually for a lot of youngsters in their minds, and for me as well, what is it that's the primary difference between general counsels and lawyers who are practicing in courts?
But largely there is no difference. Both the professions or both the disciplines, they are serving their clients. But an announced counsel or general counsel, that distinction which he brings in while serving the client is the business orientation, because he understands the business, he understands the commercial world. So his services to his clients or to his employer, they are all oriented through that commercial legal standpoint.
Right.
And that is what the difference I think it makes here.
Okay, so the commercial legal standpoint makes a difference when it comes to deciding the legal outcome also. Is that what you're saying?
Well, in terms of dealing with the legal issues, in terms of comprehending a legal document or the law, in terms of interpreting or inferring the law and the contracts, so that is what the commercial mindset which he brings in because of his exposure to the economic and the commercial world, which a normal lawyer who is just arguing in the courts of law perhaps might not get. Because in-house counsel is attached with the business community as well.
Right.
His peers and colleagues who are doing day in and day out all those business related activities. So he can help them in terms of structuring transaction, in terms of enabling their business and enabling their transactions, and in terms of supporting them in almost all kinds of issues wherever legality gets involved.
Right. A lot of young people, in fact, even people who are older in the profession, they really are bedazzled by the concept of a GC, and they want to and they aim to strive to become a general counsel of a company, especially as big as SR. Any advice for those people? How do they really do that or work towards that? Is practice something that is definitely required, or how do they go about it?
Well, look, typically what a general counsel does, you need to understand that aspect, and then you need to strive towards, making your professional career in that direction. So typically a general counsel is an strategizer for his business, is an enabler for his business, and he is a protector and preserver of his business or the assets or the company's properties and all that. So this is what the broadly we define the
Right.
general counsel's profession. Now, all these areas, they would be involving multiple things, which starts from contract drafting to contract negotiation, to understanding the law, to litigations, and so on. So multiple activities. And if I can summarize this, that a general counsel would be needed wherever the reputation of your organization is at stake, or wherever any action or inaction which leads to business disruption in any manner, or any action or inaction which leads to financial liability. Now, if you consider these aspects, so it gives you a thought that yes, he should be knowing litigation, he should be knowing law, he should be knowing the business, he should be knowing the commercial and the economic world and the overall ecosystem. Now, to understand all this, personally, my belief would be that a person who wants to start his career in this discipline, he needs to necessarily undergo an internship or training or employment in the litigation area.
Okay.
He should also be getting involved in terms of contract negotiations and contract drafting and all that. And I think that is the start. And then he needs to be updating himself as a continuing education and learning program throughout his professional career. So this is how I define it.
Lawyers are always more than lawyers. I mean, there's not just one thing they do.
Well,
So there's so many things they have to do.
Of course, because
Yeah.
the legal ecosystem is such that you need to be knowing that.
Yeah.
Because all industries, they work under an structure which is the legal and regulatory framework of the jurisdiction in which you are operating.
Yes.
So obviously you need to be knowing that. So I think from that standpoint, they need to be an expert of almost all these areas. I can't say that they should only be having the working knowledge. They should be expert in fact in all these areas.
Yes. So, any book recommendations for young lawyers that you have in mind? Any fiction, non-fiction, anything that you like?
Well, I would suggest, rather than suggesting one book, I would generally suggest there is no structured book on general counsel so far in the market, except that some of the experiences of the leading general counsels, like Brad Smith of Microsoft, he has a tremendous life history as a general counsel in terms of supporting and developing that business. So those life experiences need to be learned. There are multiple biographies and autobiographies of legal professionals, from Fali Nariman to many others. And I think all lawyers should necessarily read those biographies and autobiographies.
I hope you can share your life experience with us when we invite you for an off-the-record
Look
podcast
forward,
very
Sana,
soon.
look forward. And I know that we are waiting for
Very
this for the last couple of years,
Yes,
in fact.
yes.
So we could not, materialize the timing and all that.
Yes,
I know
yes.
that. Yeah. So
Would be wonderful
we'll
to
do
do.
that. Look forward.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.